Hey there, folks, and welcome back to another market update episode. Today I'm joined by Rick Riss, a senior analyst here at ARC Advisory Group. Rick recently finished a market analysis report on grid asset management systems, and we wanted to set some time up to share a little bit more with the audience. Thanks a lot for the time today, Rick. Can you just give the audience an idea about how you define the market, maybe the scope of the report?
Sure. So this is the Grid Asset Management Market Report for 2023. The report does follow the broader ARC Plant Asset Management Report, but it narrows down on the T&D sector, and we focus on it. So like the PAM, the Plant Asset Management Report, the Grid Asset Management Report does have segments on asset integrity management, asset reliability software and services, enterprise asset management, field service management, and plant asset management. However, where ARC kind of starts changing as we start focusing on the electric grid is that we have segmentation for grid analytics and failure protection, condition monitoring of grid assets, field inspection of grid assets, digital twin and modeling simulation, performance models, performance benchmarking. We do also have geographical location referencing, some overlap with the grid automation study there, which is a separate market study that we also do. Photometric and video data collection, work order management, integration of SOP, standard operating procedures, and safety, and finally scheduling.
Thanks for the comprehensive answer there, Rick. Do you maybe want to give the audience an idea about the supplier landscape, maybe a couple of leading players and maybe one a smaller up-and-coming one?
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's a very interesting landscape here because the grid automation suppliers, the General Electric, Katachi, Siemens, Schneider Electric, they provide the grid automation software, but they also are very knowledgeable about electric grids, and they are also providing. They're some of the leading suppliers. In fact, General Electric is the number one leading supplier in this market segment. But there's also a kind of another class of grid asset management suppliers that kind of come down from the ERP database management. And this would include IBM, Oracle, and SAP, for example. All right. So these organizations have expertise in their segments on grid assets, and so they have a lot of infrastructure with their database structure. So you'll see this type of landscape for suppliers. In the U.S. and Europe, we have established market. It's hard to break into these markets. The market in Asia is considerably different because the Asian electric grid is a growing grid. A lot of countries, you see Cambodia, Vietnam, and Indonesia, they have growing grids. China grid is also grown sharply, as well as, of course, India.
Interesting. So, Rick, on the topic of growth, regarding this market, did you identify maybe a couple key growth or success factors that you wanted to share today?
Yeah, there are several. Obviously, where new grids are being built, there's an opportunity to get grid asset management in place. So Asia is the primary place where new grids are being built. In the US and Europe, we kind of have relatively established grids. But on the other hand, we have aging infrastructure, and the aging infrastructure needs more asset management and maintenance. So there is an increased focus on graphical information systems and some of the digitalization of the workforce for grid repairs and service, and the integration of mobile devices. There's also some growth with regards to the technology of AI and machine learning has been very effective at being able to predict failures and be embedded in a number of the software packages that we see in grid asset management. Also, their generation and storage assets are growing, and this impacts the T&D reliability. So there are new types of assets to be managed.
Sure. And it definitely sounds like some of these growth factors are very regionally specific. Let me flip that on you, Rick. Did you maybe uncover a growth inhibiting factor you wanted to share today?
Yeah, of course, there are supply chain disruptions worldwide. There's a problem with transformers. We have a Ukrainian war. The Chinese electric grid is huge grid. It's bigger than the U.S. and European grids combined, and the China grid is slowing down. They've pretty much built out their grid. Obviously, there's an installed base that's that exists out there, but there's also a lack of engineering support and a large number of systems that don't necessarily work together as a unified system. So it's kind of it can be very hard to break into this market.
Sure, sure. So Rick, let's say I'm an asset owner looking to purchase, a system like this. Is there any strategies you would recommend? Any things you think I should really look at?
Yes, as I mentioned, if you look at the large utilities, they have lots of grid asset management software across all the categories and segments that I already mentioned. And many of those are kind of historical things that got put into place. They don't all there's a lot of work to make them play together as a system. So there's a lot of system integration problem to integrate a large number of different types of software applications, like integrating the GIS system, with your work order management system, with
Sure.
your field service organization. So one of the things that it would be very key for a new supplier is that you really need to be able to deal with the communication standards and the APIs and the interfaces. So you really know how to get your product to integrate with others, or maybe you would just have a product that is effectively trying to integrate other products.
Sure, sure. Well, hey Rick, I know we're slowly running out of time here, but I got one last question for you. In your opinion, how do you feel buyers of, this market research study could benefit suppliers, service providers, EPCs, et cetera?
Sure. Well, of course, ARC provides a sales forecast. We try to put our finger on the market issues going on. We're very strong in software and cybersecurity, and so we try to describe the challenges to dethrone these existing installed players. And so we try to give you some idea of strategies you could take.
Excellent, excellent. And obviously, I mean, you had mentioned it, it's a tough market to get in. So, any of that information, I think could certainly help. Obviously, we have very detailed market share information split by
Yep.
region, but there's a ton of detailed information in this report. Just a reminder to the audience, we'll have links in the description of this video below. You can contact us directly through there. We'd love to talk about how market research like this can help your company as a whole. But on behalf of the audience, I really want to thank you for the time today, Rick. Again, folks, don't hesitate to reach out, and hopefully we'll see you on the next market update episode. Thanks again.
Great. Thank you for having me.